Who am I? I'm Rowlanda Cawthon, and I teach management courses for the College of Business at Northwest University. Well, interestingly enough, it's almost as if I fell into teaching. I worked for the Department of Corrections for almost 11 years, and a colleague was on the elevator and he had his laptop, and I was being nosy and wanted to know what he was going to go do on his lunch break. And he told me he was going to do some grading for a class he was teaching. And I thought, well, if he can teach part-time and also work full-time, then that's also something that I could do as well. And so I decided that I would take education leave for a year. After that year in 2013, I really felt like God was calling me to teach in higher education full-time. So it's at that time that I decided to actually not go back to the Department of Corrections. I put in my resignation, went to school for my last year to get my doctorate, and then embarked on the journey of trying to pursue higher education opportunities full-time. Well, what do I like most about teaching at NU? Well, first of all, we are a Christian-based university, and I think it's really great to be teaching at a university where my values align with the values of the institution. But what I really like most is having the opportunity to be able to engage with students. I consider myself just to be a facilitator. I go into the classroom and I facilitate conversations, but the real goal is not just to be a bearer of knowledge, but to pull knowledge out of the students. Oftentimes I tell students that when you come into my classroom, really I want you to think from the perspective of being a leader or a manager. And so I have that skill set, and I'd like to be able to teach students who are interested in business from the perspective of honing their leadership and management skills. And so my education and my work experience actually paved the way for me to teach management and to be able to do it with a great sense of passion and enthusiasm. With a business degree, there's so much potential and opportunities for students. And so there are opportunities for students to pursue a path. So if they come in as an undergraduate and they take an organization and management theory course, or they take my human resource management course, that might give them an opportunity to enter into an entry-level position, say at a consulting firm. And then from there, if they also decide to get an MBA, which we have a pretty great MBA program here. I also teach a management consulting course for our MBA program where we take students to Prague. And so there are so many different avenues that students can take from a business perspective. So there are great opportunities and potential for students with business degrees to really tap into a plethora of employment opportunities. One of my favorite projects is actually an assignment that I recently implemented as early as last semester. And that assignment requires students to interview a Christian business leader. And they interview them in order to determine how they integrate their faith into the workplace from a leadership management perspective. And so what I really like about some of the assignments that I've created for students is that it gives them the opportunity to gain some practical experience. And so by having them go into an organization to interview with a real business leader or a real business manager and come back and navigate through that issue based on the insights that they've gained from what we've learned in class, and then be able to apply that to a specific situation and offer recommendations, to me is really valuable experience that they can take into the real world when they transition from Northwest. One of the benefits of working in higher education, you get to see students blossom. You get to see them embark on a career path. And a lot of that has a great deal to do with how we as educators influence them when we have them in our classrooms. One final thought that I could add for any student who's not only interested in taking some business courses, but any course for that matter, go in willing to share your stories, your experiences, who you are, because that authenticity opens up the door for you to harness aspects about yourself that you never thought existed. And then that will lead you to be able to develop some skills that are going to be beneficial when you become that leader or that manager that you desire to be in the work world.